Bryce Canyon, take 2.
Apparently, or obviously, this is our second take because we didn't get the intro right the first time around. Anyway, hi everybody, my name is Stephanie and this is Slow Travel Chronicles.
I'm Garrett.
And we're doing a series about our time in Utah where we visited 5 national parks. We've already done videos on Canyon, Lands, Arches, and Capitol Reef. If you haven't seen those videos, check them out. And after we left Capitol Reef, we made our way over to Bryce Canyon and we took Scenic Highway 12. And that was a very pretty drive. I actually really liked that. And you know, if you're through this area of the country and you have the opportunity to drive that road, I would definitely do that.
A lot of pine trees, a lot of aspens, you know, a lot of yellow. It was mid-October, and there's one section we drive along a fairly exposed ridge line, which was pretty cool. And my favorite part of the drive actually wasn't the drive, but we stopped at the Calf Creek Recreation Area and did a 6.5 mile round trip hike to Lower Calf Creek Falls, and that was really enjoyable.
So that was going to be my favorite hike until we got to Zion, and you have to check out that video, which should come out after this one. But the Lower Calf Creek Falls hike was a very good hike. I actually like that hike. And I don't like many hikes.
Yeah, if you're in the vicinity of either Bryce Canyon or Capitol Reef and you have a half day to spare, go check it out. It is worthwhile. So we did that in the morning, and then that afternoon we pulled into the Best Western Ruby's Inn just outside Bryce Canyon National Park.
Yes, and that hotel was we used points, so you get what you pay for. There weren't very many options though. They kind of have a monopoly on where you can stay. There are other options. The Airbnbs, which we did check out a long time ago, and if memory serves me correctly, they were like way out of our budget. And so we opted to go the Best Western route.
There's only a few options for lodging within probably a 15 to 20 minute drive of Bryce Canyon. But you know, if you're only going to be there for a day or two, not a big deal. I will say this. When we started this trip, I wasn't expecting much from Bryce Canyon. I've seen the pictures. My impression was, okay, Big Canyon, got it. We'll go there to go there. And wow, I was wrong. I absolutely loved it. I want to go back. It is probably my second favorite national park after Grand Canyon, though admittedly I haven't been to some of the heavy hitters like Yosemite or Yellowstone yet. But I absolutely loved our day and a half at Bryce Canyon.
I liked it. It is not as high up on my list as, it's probably in my top 5, but, and I haven't been to any of the big hitters either.
Yeah, we got there in the afternoon, and there is a shuttle bus that takes people from the hotel area into the park, and there's 5 or 6 places the park will drop you off. I think if you've only got one day, or you're there in the summer tourist season, taking the shuttle bus is probably a pretty good idea. I mean, Bryce Canyon is fairly compact. There is it has one scenic road that goes out, I think 15 or 18 miles to maybe
Rainbow Point?
To Rainbow Point. The bus doesn't do that, but you only really need to drive into the park if you're planning on going all the way out to the end, and we'll talk about that. But on our first afternoon there, we just drove in and kind of did a reconnaissance drive to the major viewpoints to figure out how big was the parking lot, where can we go tomorrow, what do we want to do. I think we got out and walked a bit at Sunset Point just because it was easy, but we didn't do much. We just kind of took a look around and said, okay, we know where to go.
And then that night for dinner, we went to the diner.
Canyon Diner
at the Best Western at Ruby Falls Inn. Do not go there.
No, it was not any good.
It was not any good.
It's overpriced burgers, pizza, and chicken sandwiches. Bland as could be, not very good.
It's not a good value for the money.
It's not, but the problem is everything else is a lot more expensive and probably also not a good value for the money. You're basically captive there. The next day, we had one full day to spend in Bryce. I got up early in the morning to go watch sunset, take some pictures. Stephanie slept in.
Sunrise,
Yeah, sunrise. What did I say?
sunset.
Did that too. But anyway, sunrise. And then we had breakfast at the hotel, which was actually pretty good.
That was good.
And then we spent the morning hiking the Navajo Trail, Queen's Garden Loop Trail. Started at Sunset Point and hiked around to Sunrise Point.
Yes, and that's like a switchbacks going down. That wasn't too bad. It was wide enough that I didn't feel like I was gonna fall off.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have hiking sticks. We did see people with them. I felt okay without them. So that's any indication. If you have like really bad knees, you would definitely want hiking sticks.
And I think if you're going to spend any time at Bryce Canyon, you really need to go down into the canyon if you can. It's so much different. The views are incredible. You really have a different perspective on it. The trail was fairly, I wouldn't say it was crowded, but there was a lot of people on it. Very well trafficked. Plenty of room to walk by yourself. I mean, you weren't bumping into people or anything. But it was a really nice walk. It took us, I think, about 2 hours to do. We didn't go fast. We took plenty of breaks. And all in all, it was a good morning.
And then didn't we have lunch or did we do another hike? They start to run together on me.
We drove down to Rainbow Point.
Oh, yes.
We took the scenic drive. I think it was another 15 to 18 miles all the way to the end of Rainbow Point. Had our picnic lunch there, and then we drove back north through the park.
And we stopped at all
all the viewpoints in Bryce Canyon are on the east side, so we stopped at all of them traveling north, so I wouldn't have to make any left turns. Though there's so few cars up there, it wouldn't matter. I would say this, of those viewpoints that are south of the main amphitheater in the park, maybe 4 of them are worth stopping at, and the other 4 are just kind of like, okay, got it, same kind of view, maybe a little bit different, pine trees, rocks, got it. I don't mean to slide it. I said earlier, I love Bryce Canyon, I want to go back, but the viewpoints in the south section of the park were not the reason why I want to go back. So we did that. That night we went to dinner in Tropic,
hold on,
Utah.
tell the story why we went there.
We decided that we didn't want to pay the overpriced $40 for the tourist meals.
We're going to
in
go to
Bryce.
Subway.
Yeah, we're going to go to Subway. It was the only fast food type place in town where we kind of knew it would be. The damn Subway is closed on Thursdays.
And Sundays.
Don't know why it's closed on Thursdays. It's one of their closed days. So we drove to Subway and it was closed. So the next town over is Tropic, Utah. They've got a few restaurants. We went to a restaurant over there. I can't remember the name
I'll
of it.
put it in the video.
It was reasonably decent. We got Mexican. I mean, you can't really screw up Mexican too badly. It was pretty good. So it was fine, but just know if you're going to be in Bryce Canyon for a few days and you don't want to pay $40 for an overpriced tourist meal, your options are going to be limited.
Yeah, go to Tropic. I actually got a beef burrito and I had expected like ground beef. It was like pot roast, like a pot roast burrito, and it was actually pretty good.
It was really good.
It was really good. So check out that restaurant. I'll put the name up there for you to see.
And I guess, we spent the night again at the hotel. Our plan was to get up in the morning and drive down to Kanab, where we're going to be based for Zion National Park. But before we did that, we did go through the park again. I went back out for sunrise pictures. We did go to a couple of the other viewpoints that we missed, like I think Fairyland Point, and maybe there was one.
Started with a P, I thought.
Pariah View.
Yes.
And that was nice. I mean, we did that in the morning. But I think the, that was it.
That's here.
No. I think that the main draw to Bryce Canyon, if you're going to be there for longer than a day, is to go hiking on some of the trails that are below the rim. We did a 2-hour loop trail. It was super easy. There are a lot longer 8 to 10 mile trails, which I'm ready to do.
I don't know that we go. Anyway, maybe by then I'll have some better hiking legs. Or if it's flat hikes, like if it's a walk, can we just do a walking hike?
Sure, once you get down to the bottom of the canyon, it's relatively flat.
Okay, so anyway, I'll probably go back with him. But you liked Bryce better than Grand Canyon, you say?
No. Let's put it this way. I like Bryce Canyon better than the south rim of the Grand Canyon, but probably not as much as the north rim.
Okay. Well, I think that wraps up
Mhm.
our video on Bryce Canyon. I liked it. I guess I'm going back since he's taken me
You're
with
going
him. And we'll see you next time on our next video on Zion. Have a great week.
Yep, have a great week.